This morning, let's explore teaching without treachery. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This morning we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two, but first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as General Leia Organa, specifically during the Jedi training she received in the events following Episode 6, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. This morning, we could explore teaching without treachery that you too could meditate like a Jedi. If at any point during this morning's live stream you have a question, there is no need to be shy. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of your screen. If you're watching a replay, you want to type your question in the comment area below the video. But since you, worthy friend, entreat me insistently, I cannot refuse. I will speak out frankly. Unusual though it is in this decadent age, I offer you these words without treachery, so listen well. When people teach, they don't just teach the Dharma, they teach their experience of the Dharma, which is inevitably shaped by a myriad of factors, including their culture, the culture of the person to whom they are speaking, and the culture from the individual from whom they receive the teachings. In Tibetan culture, it is not uncommon for teachers to behave as if they were reluctant to share the teachings. And make the students feel like they have to, beg for the teachings. Even the Dalai Lama was faced with that dilemma during his continuing education. Personally, as someone raised in my culture where the teachings are often held for ransom, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So I'm happy to give teachings. The only caveat I have is that the person have the time to receive the teachings, and that I also throw some background information to ensure the teachings are comprehended. Because I find no benefit in setting someone up for defeat. One of the things that sets that set, past tense, Dzalpatrul Rinpoche apart from other teachers was that he had no ulterior motives. He was not trying to build fame. He was not trying to build wealth. He was not trying to build power. He was simply helping people. So he would teach frankly without being deliberately obscure. I was speaking to a long-term Dharma student recently, and we were both lamenting that so many times you have to jump through flaming tiger hoops to get a teaching. When you do, it's either incredibly cryptic or something you already knew before. So there is a lot. Capitalism and Dharma make poor bedfellows. Unusual though it is in this decadent age, once again I turn to a favorite book of mine, The New Human Rights Movement. The way the majority of contemporary societies are structured is they are structured to be oligarchic and highly competitive in an unfair sort of way, which undermines the spiritual teachings. Let's take a moment to gaze upon an artist rendering of the human brain. This is the amygdala region right here. This is the seat of fear. It's completely separate from this area right here, which is the anterior, oopsie, you can't see the pointer. My mistake, let me remedy that real quick. Okay. Now you can see the pointer. So right here is the amygdala region, the seat of fear. Here is the anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy. These are different parts of the brain. If we live in competition and aggression and fear, it's not going to be very, very profitable. We're not going to really be at a lot of success in our training in empathy. Similarly, if we're empathy and love and compassion oriented, fear and competition are going to seem like absurdities to us. It is so. The very fact that society shoves us towards competition and cruelty and fear is disastrous. The fact that some teachers also do that is also disastrous. There are some teachers who make Anu-yoga practice into a competition, which is antithetical to the training in love and letting go. I offer you these words without treachery, so listen well. So, here's the idea. If your teacher's saying, dude, I know there's people abusing the teachings and abusing the students, I'm determined to do neither. If you have a good heart, I am happy to teach you. That's a rare opportunity. Make the most of it. Some people not only don't want to practice the teachings, that's a prerogative, but they want to find a sanctimonious reason not to practice the teachings. And it's as absurd as it might sound, you'll have people say, well, I'm too spiritual to meditate, or I'm too spiritual to receive his teachings, or I'm so spiritual I can't find a worthy teacher. Now, people will seldom come out and say that, but they will infer the hell out of that. One time, I was in an abusive relationship, and me and my abuser were at a restaurant. And as I was returning from the washroom, someone had seated at a table, flagged me down, and asked me a question about how I was dressed. And I told her I was a meditation teacher, and she said, and she lifted her chin, so her body language gave her away. She closed her eyes, another body language. She said, I've looked all over, but I can't find a worthy teacher. She actually said that. And then I gave her the basic spiel. The test of a teacher is not how well-heeled they are, or how popular they are, or how handsome they are. The real test of a teacher is the results you get when you apply their teachings every 12 hours for a week. And she looked a little concerned at that because she probably didn't want to do that. And then the abusive partner I was with snapped at me, and you could see a look of triumph on the seated woman's face. Well, someone doesn't like you, you must not be worthy to be my teacher. So there were people who didn't like Lao Tzu. There were people who didn't like the Buddha. So being loved by all beings everywhere all the time is not a test of being a teacher. So I've said all that to say this. There's some people who are determined not to practice, and they'll dig up any reason they can to justify that. if that's not you, if you really want to practice, and you have a teacher saying, listen, I choose not to be greedy, I choose not to be manipulative, I choose not to be elitist, I choose not to be cruel, I choose to be as helpful as I can. If someone comes out and says that, do your best to work with them. Ask them your questions, apply their answers, notice your results. What I'd like to do now is, in preparation for chanting and meditating, is I'd like to perform approximately 52 seconds worth of housekeeping. Every 12 hours, I broadcast a live meditation class without any ads. This channel supported exclusively by the generosity of viewers, just like you. With your help, this channel could come to support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this speaks to you and you'd like to help out, even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, no worries. Just take a moment to explore the description area below the video. Whoops, that didn't work out well. Let's try that again. There we go. You'll find 2 links, one for Patreon, one for PayPal. You'll find 2 YouTube buttons, one marked with the word join, one marked with a currency symbol. Click any one of those and then Bob's your uncle. I think it could be great fun if, together as a team, we chanted 6 passages from my adaptation and amplification of the Padmakara group's translation of Dzogchen Rinpoche's final meditation manual, Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones. Which was written in Tibet in the late 1800s. Together. Conceptualizing speech and sound is what causes delusion. If you recognize it as not graspable as a whispered mantra, resounding yet as not graspable as a vast empty void recited. It is like Dorje Sampa. It is none other than as non-graspable as the sublime lion's roar. In the recognition of sound as non-graspable as mantra recited execrable mantra. So, who is this Dorje Sampa fellow, and what's this deal? Glad you asked. The basic difference between Tantra and Sutra is the use of metaphors and mantras. So, bearing that in mind, we use a lot of figurative language in Tantra. One of the things we use is an archetype of enlightenment, and there are many of them. One of them is named in Sanskrit Vajrasattva, which translates into Tibetan as Dorje Sampa, which translates into English as diamond mind. The significance of that we'll get to in just a few minutes. But the importance is as follows. When we work with an archetype, it's just a useful way of organizing the iconography that is going to serve, that is going to be the stuff with which we build our 8 metaphors with, that help us to train in love and bringing mantras into the path of love and letting go. It's just that simple. And there you have it. Let's move on. Rigidly clinging to mind's perceptions as true as the delusion that causes stressful samsara. If you leave mind in its natural state free from the tyranny of thoughts, It is as non-graspable as the archetype diamond mind comprised only of light. It is none other than as non-graspable as the sublime winding and ultimate mind. In ultimate mind, the mastery of awareness and letting go. That is the Dharmakaya Rasatha Sixarable Mantra. So a phrase we just tripped over was comprised only of light. So this is not something to be believed or disbelieved. It's just an idea to play with. So if our circumstance, we were in a paradise comprised only of light, it would be apparent yet non-graspable because light's not graspable. If we were enjoying a body that was comprised of light, but incredibly blissful, then we would be experiencing so that which was blissful yet non-graspable. If we were listening to a mantra, that would be resounding yet non-graspable. We could clearly perceive sensations, flavors, scents, sounds, sights, and the like, as well as emotions, intentions, reasoning, recollection, and imagination. We could perceive all those clearly, and yet those things, if they were comprised of light, would be non-graspable. So we're using a light as just to hammer in that idea that whatever we perceive during the in-breath could feel rather intangible as we physically relax in correlation to our exhalation. We'll get more into that in just a few minutes. Continue. Everything that exists is as non-graspable as the primordially pure continuum of the Dharmakaya. If you meet the Dharmakaya's mastery of awareness and letting go face to face, it is as non-graspable as the archetype Vajrasattva comprised only of light. It is none other than as beneficial as the sublime sovereign of the universe. In the continuum of the all-pervading purity of awareness and release, recite the six-syllable mantra. One archetype Dorje Sampa embodies all Buddhas. One mantra, these six syllables, embodies all mantras. One Dharma Bodhi, Jesus, wishing love, active love, mindfulness, and letting go. Embodies all practices of the creation and completion stages. Knowing the one which liberates, all recite the six-syllable mantra. What use is all you have done being so busy, just causes young-oriented samsara. Here's an idea. Well, let's move on. And I'm going to hit File, Save As, and I'm going to call this 21. Now there's a high probability the screen has lost its... What use is all you have done being so busy, just causes young-oriented samsara. Look how meaningless all you have done has been. Now you had better stop trying to do anything. Dropping all contrived and scattered activities, recite the six-syllable mantra. What use is all you have said, it was all just mindless prattle. Look how much irrelevant turmoil it has brought. Now you had better just keep silent. Ceasing completely to destructively speak, recite the six-syllable mantra. Before we start, I need to take a moment to actually hose my nose. Quick reminder, if at any point during the live stream you have a question, type your question in the chat window. Don't be shy. Oh, excuse me. Let us train in meditation's loving motivation. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness, may everyone have balance from the tyranny of hate and craving and clinging freed. Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. We come now to mantra contemplation, also known as mantra meditation. We're going to play with 8 exercises. The second 4 will focus on the wisdom of letting go. The first 4 will focus on love. We're going to begin with additional preliminary practices, the first being the shedding of the elite, or of elitism. Through the cause and effect of my practice of love and letting go, may each sentient being of each world know practice with me in unison. Be aware of those who are terribly, terribly secretive and determined to make themselves feel special, for they have missed the boat. What does the mantra mean? Om I invoke the Benza diamond-like strength of a subtle mind well trained in love and letting go, supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. What are we going to do with the mantra? As we chant the mantra, good feelings of diamond rays were emitting from a thumbnail-sized horizontal 6-syllable mantra rosary at our heart, lavishing all man's communication, bodies, and circumstances with joyful wisdom, peaceful love, beautiful health, and safe good fortune-centered and spontaneous. One moment, if you please. Let's see here, insert, put an accent there. Let's see, this is page 14. The screen's going to go nuts if it hasn't already. File, save as. January 23A. 21 January 23A. Let's return to page 14. Let's realign the display, and boom, Bob's your uncle. For the next 4 exercises, we're going to play with intentions, not affirmations to be believed, not visualizations to be agonized over, simply intentions with which to excite the neural pathways responsible for empathy. Let us lovingly wish that all minds enjoy a Buddha's wisdom of letting go, symbolized by a one-syllable mantra, seed ah. Remember, it's important not only to silently and mentally recite this intention as we breathe in, but to physically relax as best we can while chanting the mantra. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Let us lovingly wish that all communication and its interpersonal consequences be as loving as a Buddha's communication, symbolized by a 6-syllable mantra arranged in a circle. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. If you've just joined us, welcome. When you have questions about chanting or meditation or philosophy, type them in the chat window. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Let us lovingly wish that all bodies be as healthy as the health that is depicted in tantric art of the enlightened archetype, known often as a yidam. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. May all circumstances of all beings everywhere, real or imagined, be as safe and as fortunate as that which is depicted in tantric art of an archetype's paradise or pure land or vati. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato, Om Menza Sato. As promised, we now turn our attention to the wisdom of letting go. We're going to play with the wisdom of letting go with 8 exercises. Each of them will use not an intention, but a rhetorical question. The first 4 will use mantra, the second 4 will not use mantra. Now, there has been a lot of there's been a lot of confusion has crept into Buddhism. So in an attempt to dispel that confusion, the next 2 pages are going to contain a chant to clarify what is meant by emptiness or voidness. May I let go of all circumstances, bodies, communication, and minds, as if they were as non-graspable as our vast and divine, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on our bright and cloudless. Take two. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be non-graspable to the hand. So let us explore how all those circumstances are visible. As we physically relax into our recitation, they can feel as if they were as non-graspable as a paradise comprised of lights. Let us now explore how, as we breathe in, although as we breathe in, our bodies can feel rather sensual, as we physically relax into the recitation of the mantra, these exact same bodies could begin to feel as if they were as non-graspable as an archetype of enlightenment comprised only of light. Let us consider the following rhetorical question. Why is it that as we breathe in, we could perceive the resonance of communication and its interpersonal consequences, and yet as we physically relax into the recitation of the mantra, this exact same communication, whether it is kind or cruel or skillful or clunky, could feel as if it was as non-graspable as mantra. Why is it that as we breathe in, we can clearly perceive mind and its functions, and yet as we physically relax whilst chanting the mantra, this exact same mind can begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a one-syllable mantra comprised only of light. This has been the blending of Tantra Mahamudra with Bindu Mahamudra. We're now going to figuratively explore interdependence, and impermanence, to help us to transcend the two pillars of confusion, competitiveness and clinging. How could all places blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into this body? How could all bodies blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into this communication? How could all speech blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into this mind? How could all minds blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into infinite emptiness? Let us now practice the union of Bindu Mahamudra with Sutra Mahamudra as we relax into the nature of bliss. Beware of those. One moment. Do bear with me.
A lot of work cut out for them. A lot of the chambers inside this tomb are actually flooded and have a lot of damage, so it's
Beware of those who try to frighten you into doing the right thing out of dread of punishment. For it is, if we are motivated by the fear, the amygdala of our underbrain, we will lose the path. Do the right thing because we are motivated by love, because nonviolence makes us happy. This is the path of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We now practice Sutra Mahamudra or Treachery under the influence, under the momentum of the two tantric stages. Let us relax into the nature of awareness. May all beings have the joyful wisdom, peaceful love, beautiful health, and safe boon. Love, time, and mind, mythical mind, speech, form, and lot. May all beings like diamond, mind, master, being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness, flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May all beings like diamond, mind, master the Eightfold Path as well as liberate others. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help all others do likewise. Could explore sleep, control, and meditation. As well as chant and meditate some more. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as